Good morning from New York. I'm your personal mystic. And I'm just taking that line from and modifying it from Neil deGrasse Tyson saying he's your personal astrophysicist. Just strikes me funny. What is your personal astrophysicist? Well, what is your personal mystic? Well, your personal mystic is you. it's You're the mystic. You don't know it, maybe, but you don't know the definition of mystic that I'm referring to. But believe me, that's you. The answer is in you. That was the message of the great mystics all along. And they were more spiritual than they were religious. Religions is about rules and if you keep them, then you're blessed, and all of this, yeah, right. And you get duped by the religious, perspective into this idea that you have no virtues if you're an unbeliever in whatever religion that is. No, virtue evolved, and that's spirituality. It's the three empathies that I talk about. Yeah, I created another word, empathies. Yep. Well, one day maybe it'll be a word. There's objective empathy from which we get truth. There's creative empathy from which we get artfulness, the ability to appreciate the good in things, to see things from another perspective. And goodness comes from compassion, compassionate empathy. Now, all of these things work together to increase our faith and love. And they work together in a communication with what I call your dramatic self, the part of you that's most impacted emotionally by what's going on in your life, the kid in you. And you can say, oh, that's part of the brain. Kind of, yeah. Yet that part of the brain needs to communicate with these other perspectives. And this is a practice. This is not a belief system. This is not beating people over the head and telling them to believe something that, really, you have no proof for anyhow. The only evidence that anybody will find for anything beyond this space-time reality would have to be a personal exploration and experience. And because and that's a stretch. You don't have to believe that either. Because spiritual but not religious means that you are becoming a more virtuous person, a more virtuous, loving person. And what is love? Love is the meeting and the reception of needs. that isn't quite the right way to say that. It's the love flow. The love meets needs. And when your needs are met, you experience love also. So there's a giving and a receiving involved with the love flow. And if there isn't a giving and a receiving, then there's no love flow and there's no real love. So, and you get back the love that you give in various sorts of ways. And we like loving your children. You don't get paid for that. Well, if they become rich, maybe you do. But no, you give, and your immediate reception of love, your own needs being met, happens as you love your children. Because loving your children loves yourself. You feel that love that you give. Every time you give love, you feel love yourself, because you're empathizing with that other person. You're sharing in the love that you give. This is always good to love. And love is at the basic core of being spiritual and not religious. Religion's all about judging people. And what did Jesus say about that? Or what did the New Testament say about that? Well, it didn't. It's I can't get the verse adequately paraphrased, but I believe it was Paul that talked about it. It's by one verse is by faith you are saved, and not by works, lest anybody should boast. So that faith is trust. And when you say trust, you have to say trust in what? Trust in love. And what is the enemy of trust in love? It's damaged faith in love, damaged trust, which are the traumas of life, of whatever kind. And so, how do you deal with damaged faith and love? Well, for one thing, a lot of these therapies out there want you to focus on the damage. But in an atmosphere of caring, you see people able to grieve, right? Able to feel and unlearn some of that helplessness and grief, and then they deal with that and go forward with their grieving process. It's the same way with any damaged faith and love. The treatment is love, but love from a number of different perspectives, and I've talked about that before, because the way we keep from being overwhelmed by the anxiety of damaged faith is by creating symbols of the needs that were attached to helplessness in a situation. which is at the root of greed, the love of money, the source of all evil. So, spirituality is an embracing of love, and the virtues are there as you practice empathy, objective, creative, and compassionate. You are growing in virtue. And that's already inside you. You don't need to, I mean, these skills are basically inside everybody. The ability to be compassionate, creative, or objective, to some degree, is already in an individual. You can increase those abilities, and that grows your comfort zone and your trust and love, because these are ways that human need is fulfilled. So spiritual but not religious is about loving practices. These practices are forms of communication, a communication of love within yourself and beyond yourself to others in your day-to-day life. And so it's more about doing than it is believing. Another verse in the Bible comes to mind. Show me your faith without your works. I'll show you my faith by my works. Your trust is active and full of potential. And if it's real, it will manifest in what you do and what you say. And to the degree that it doesn't, well, yeah, show me that faith. How are you going to show it? By doing something, saying something, doing, saying is doing. So, yeah, show it. Show it and grow it. Yeah. And, yoga of love. Yeah, it is a yoga of love. That's what this is. This particular version of inner mind communication is a kind of yoga of love. The name for it in Sanskrit is bhakti yoga. It's a love between yourself and your inner artist, your higher self, the imaginer of all you imagine, including your own self-concept. It's an imagined thing. Who you think you are, you imagine that. You imagine others and yourself and your world, and you receive information, but that is filtered through your imaginer, your inner artist. Yeah, that's your brain, in my opinion. Could be more than that, but it definitely is your brain. Your brain is perhaps your truest self, because there's results showing that the brain already has our decision made before we go or we're aware of having made that decision. Trying to cause anybody to space out at this point, but that's what it is. And yeah, the yoga of love. It's the yoga of love. Inner mind communication, my distro of that, to borrow a Linux term, is a yoga of love. And it's both ancient and in this version also modern. And natural. It's the natural religion of sorts. But it's not a religion. It's a practice, and you have faith in the practice, and and you have faith in love. And our journey through life is people that are more spiritual than religious. And you can, people go for cultural reasons and for things to a church. I'm not saying you can't go to the church and have all the silly rituals that you want. But, attach some real meaning, isn't it? And be spiritual. Be spiritual more than you are just believing in something that someone told you or that's written in a book. And those books are, they're written by human beings. And I'm a human being, so I always say faith without doubt is like driving a car without brakes. Yeah. Without an ability, or driving without ability to slow down. Make it a more fluid analogy. And that's a lot of what really happens when people have a false belief. And beliefs can be very comforting, but they are often a false comfort. The real comfort is always love. And if you feel unloved, try loving others, doing something for someone else. And if you're feeling loved, well, share it. And if you want to grow your capacity to love, well, consider the practice of inner mind communication, this version that I call yoga of love, and apply it, within your imagination, within your mind. And so that's really it in a nutshell. Spirituality is about love, and love is this real source of your virtues. And you don't need a book to tell you. You can find that for yourself and grow that for yourself. So it's like, oh, about my religion, I don't know what to do. Oh, really? Yeah. Ridiculous. I don't know right from wrong. Yes, you do. Loving from not loving, right? Loving from hating. You know the difference? Of course you do. You know. You might not want to know, but you know. And a lot of times religions promote hate as a kind of love. As a kind of war on evil. Better to fix the damaged faith and love, and then evil goes away. Yeah. But will this approach separate you from some others? Yes. As Jesus said, I came to bring you a sword. You will be separate from your family, so on. You're going to be a little conflict there. Yeah, there is. Right now, the Democratic Party is the more loving party, and the Republican Party is definitely not particularly loving. It's more into rules than it is into natural virtue. Yeah. And, they say, with all the legislation passed, you need laws, both parties. They're going to create laws. But those laws should be the maximum of love possible in any given situation. Defending, that's an act of love. But it doesn't require that you hate. In the Bhagavad Gita, that story is about that. It's Krishna, the mystic Krishna, is beside Arjuna in the battle, and Arjuna is a warrior, and he's fighting against an evil army, some of which included some of his relatives and so on. But they were fighting for evil, in the story. So, but there was no hate involved, there's no hate. You have to defend, and you have to engage, like you have to defend democracy. But that doesn't mean you dehumanize the other side, or that you hate them. You're shooting them to keep them from shooting you, and destroying democracy. So, we call those heroes. Arjuna was a hero in that story. So you should try, the imaginer of your imaginations, the inner artist within you, that higher self, which in a sense is your most real self, calls to you to be the hero in the drama of your life. The hero of love in the movie in which you are the main character. Anyway, it's, what a selfish kind of position that is. Well, you're going inside yourself. It's all you. And the others are you in your imagination, and you are you. You play all the roles in your dreams. So, your brain does. The real you. You're playing all of the roles. And so, no, it's not selfish. We relate to the world as we imagine it to be, and we can grow in that imagination toward a more objective view, a more compassionate view, and a more creative view. And that's spiritual growth. So you don't need a holy book to guide you. You need a practice of love within you and from you into the world. And both of these things work together. So that is spiritual but not religious. And it really doesn't matter what you believe or what you don't believe. It is a natural thing. And these abilities and so on have evolved in human beings. And your original pre-language infant stage, where you could be capable of, in regard to your needs and feelings, you could focus, you could express them, you could focus on them, express them, and be at play with them a little bit. And you had all those abilities. Play evolved into the ability to create play, creative. That focus ability developed into objectivity. In every classroom, the teacher has to first get you to focus. And compassion. This developed from expression of need. Why? Because compassion is what? Is a loving reaction that encourages and helps you feel safe to express need. So, compassion evolved from your need to express your needs, because it helps with that expression. Anyway, spiritual but not religious. This is a call out to people who are mostly to people who are already there, who are already consider themselves more spiritual than religious. But if you're finding religion uncomfortable to you, you might consider this option. And does that mean you can't have a church? No. Church main function is to be an extended family, a loving extended family. Understand. It doesn't have to be tribal. It doesn't have to be hateful. It doesn't have to be religious. It just needs to be spiritual in that loving sense. And so, as I like to say at the end of my rather poor, I suppose, attempts to communicate great things, namaste, which is a phrase in India which is used as an honoring from that perspective of being part of the love flow in the world and part of the universe. It's an honoring of this from that perspective of that reality and that perspective and that reality. It's an honoring from that perspective of that same reality in the other person. In other words, the capacity for increasing your love flow, that connection that binds us all together in this one universe. Yeah, that exists in you, and it exists in me. And so when I say namaste, I'm honoring that in you, recognizing that in you from that same perspective in myself. So it's deep, yeah, kinda, but it's also very basic and simple from another perspective. And it's about love. We're all together in this. The experience of life. And because I'm a real ham and I love to sing, so I'm just gonna sing you my Irish blessing. Hopefully that will resonate with you somewhat and inspire a loving act today. Because it isn't about having a great day, it's about creating one. As soon as you connect with your inner artist, you're above your timeline, above the drama. You're already in heaven right now, and you didn't have to die to experience this. Okay? And here's the blessing. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rain fall soft upon your leaves. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Namaste, yo, and do create